Hello, brave parents raising teens. Laura Lyles Reagan here. I am your parent and teen communication coach, and I want to share that I get it. I get it from the other side, particularly today, because I'm coming to you from Louisiana at my parents' house where my mom has just come out of the hospital and is recovering, and I'm trying to help out. And I have a wonderful opportunity to practice what I preach and look at whose problem is it. And I want to share this. If I am triggered, if I am impatient, guess whose problem that is? It's mine. It's not theirs. I'm the one that needs to do the work to center, calm, rest, maybe recover, find ways to engage that are compassionate. And does that mean I'm perfect at it? Absolutely not. It means I struggle and waver much, actually, in this capacity. But I do know that it's the same for teens. And I went through it just like you're going through it now with our teens. You know, when you've asked that the dishwasher be loaded with dirty dishes instead of being left in the sink, and you've done that a gazillion times, it's really hard not to lose your patience and see that as an opportunity for connection. So I get it. I really get it. I had the wonderful privilege of working with coaching clients this week who were looking at triggers that were even deeper than that, that had to do with not just the everyday wear and tear of the world, but also why things hurt us or trigger us the way they do. And oftentimes it's from our childhood and wanting to take care of our teens in ways that we were not nurtured. And for women who experienced high stress families and exude sometimes, or trip up into, I shouldn't say exude, we exude love, but sometimes our boundaries aren't clear and we trip up into wanting to protect and over explain and over nurture when possibly our teens need to take full responsibility for their own emotions. And so I was working with this wonderful couple who had that actually happen, and the mom was able to realize that it was her own lack of nurture and a really chaotic upbringing that helped her want to take care of emotionally her teens' need for connection and belonging and love. And, you know, the team was probably just wanting to know if they could stay on longer for their video game rather than have why be explained in depth. You know, they simply wanted, as teens do, what they want when they want it, and they don't necessarily attribute our need to connect with their need to get what they want when they want it. And when we do that over explaining, it can often sometimes create insecurity. And so this mom was able to take responsibility for that and see that she needed to take care of her own needs, her own inner child first, and that she was comforting not him, but herself when she was doing the explaining. Rather than saying, okay, how do you feel about that? And what is it that you really want? And no, I'm not angry. I'm simply have to hold this boundary here that it's time to go to bed, you know? And that the explanation part was about wanting to make sure the teen didn't feel rejected or abandoned when it was really the inner child that didn't want to feel rejected or abandoned. So when we talk about whose problem is it, which is what I build this video to be today, it's oftentimes about what's going on with me, right? And being as emotionally clean and as I can, because I've done the work to take care of myself, and be as emotionally clean in my exchange with my teen so that I can see what's really going on with them, rather than bringing that baggage forward to the relationship today with them. And there are some wonderful strategies for that. There's some wonderful ways that we can connect with ourselves more deeply and, you know, be as clean as possible with them in our interactions. And I'd love to talk with you more about that. I'm going to, as always, have an open discussion about my Back on Track program, and that program uses the conscious communication skills to make the deeper connections that we want and give everybody a language and a way to be authentic with one another, so that blaming isn't a part of the conversation, projection isn't part of the conversation, but we've got the skills to represent the authenticity that we want to cultivate in ourselves and in our teens. And so that's definitely available to you. But sometimes it requires this inner work, and that next step is called Journey to Freedom. And that's where we do this work with the inner child, and we see how it's showing up in the relationship with the teen. And oftentimes parents love to do this work even after they've had those big discoveries, because it takes time to make major changes and shifts in our connections and communications. And so some parents choose to do a Stay on Track program with me, which is just once a month. So there's all kinds of ways that we can be supportive of you, and I would love to have a conversation about how that might work. In the meantime, enjoy your teen.